Well, you've seen him on Full Frontal with Samantha Bee, and you can catch him starring in the movie Boy Band out next week. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Dave Hill.
Hi, how are you? I'm incredible. Thank you. Let's give it up for the band. Oh, all right. Love watching you guys try to do your thing. It's really fun. And anyway, as long as you guys are still out here for some reason, why don't you sit in with me? Why don't we, I don't have any guitar, I don't have any guitar heat.
Oh, no.
What's going on?
Dave.
Probably couldn't handle me.
This is one of the things about solid body instruments, you know?
Oh, there we go. That's where we're at. All right, give me a little vamp in A, see if you can keep up. All right, I didn't say to go crazy. Bass player, I don't remember telling you to take that thing for a walk. And drummer, this isn't the drum department at Guitar Center. Just calm down. All right, I'm gonna rip a solo. All right. Everyone just chill out a second. Sorry, I apologize. I took a shower earlier today. And I used some of that energizing body wash. And I just been bouncing off the walls. Anyway, I wanted to tell you a little story, tell you a little bit about myself. I want to talk to the people, Jesus Christ. Anyway, I opened for Snoop Dogg recently, thank you. Here's how it all went down. So Snoop Dogg was playing a show in Austin, Texas. And I guess the plan was going to be Snoop Dogg and the local Austin soul band, right? And that sounds like a pretty great show, but I guess the promoters were like, no, let's take it to the next level. What if we got a comedian from the suburbs of Cleveland on the show too? That's a good idea. So they call me up and they're like, hey, Dave, you want to come down here and open up for Snoop Dogg? And I'm like, yeah, no one in my family's ever done that before. My dad's going to be so proud. That's why Grandpa fought in the war. Anyway, so I fly down there and the place is packed, sold out 2,000 people. And I go backstage and I don't see Snoop Dogg anywhere, but I can see like his massive bodyguards sort of patrolling the backstage area, just like scaring everybody. It was awesome. And I was up first, right? So the stage manager leads me to the side of the stage and the lights go down and 2,000 people are just like, yeah, it's time for the Snoop Dogg concert. I don't know if Snoop Dogg's coming out here, but if it's not him, I bet it's one of his really cool friends. And I was just like, yeah, let me at him. And I was about to walk out there when one of Snoop Dogg's bodyguards walked up to me and he's like, who are you and what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm Dave, I'm the comedian that's gonna start the show. And he's like, hold up a second. And he walks away and he starts talking to another Snoop Dogg bodyguard, and they're kind of sizing me up, looking me up and down, pointing me. And after a couple minutes, he walks over and just says, go for it. And I was like, thanks a lot, mister, you're not gonna regret this one. So, anyway, so the lights go up and the crowd just goes, yeah, what the hell is going on? And I think they just thought I was a roadie, like testing out the microphone for like a really long time. And so they just go back to talking, right? And like normally at a comedy show, when two people are talking, that can be like really distracting. But when like 2,000 people are having a full-on conversation during your set, it can be a negative experience for the performer. But I got through it, and I said goodnight, and then the soul band comes on, they're awesome, and then I figure, it's time for Snoop Dogg. So I start to head out to the audience, and the stage manager grabs me and he's like, Dave, we need you to go out there and do another set. And I was like, well, how long do you want me to do this time? And he's like, well, just see how it goes. And I was like, we know how it's gonna go, these people hate me. But he's like, just get out there. And so the lights go down, and at this point in the evening, 2,000 people are 100% certain that Snoop Dogg, one of the greatest rappers of all time, one of the most famous people on planet Earth, is about to take the stage. And instead, I walk out there. And if you thought they were upset the first time, oh my gosh, this time they weren't happy at all. It was like a riot was gonna break out. There was like a plague of locusts and frogs. I don't even know what that was about. But I got through it. And then it was time for Snoop Dogg. So I go out into the audience. Snoop Dogg takes the stage at 10 o'clock at night. We're inside. He has sunglasses on. He doesn't care. He's wearing a hockey jersey. There's no game. And then he just starts rapping. He's doing all the hits, and it's awesome. And then he did this cool thing where the DJ just plays a song by someone else, and he just stands there doing absolutely nothing. And you're like, well, that sounds like cheating, Dave. But trust me, it was awesome. Like, one time the DJ plays I Love Rock and Roll by Joan Jett, you know, and that's like a really great song. But when Snoop Dogg is standing there doing absolutely nothing while that song's on, that's the best song you ever heard in your life. Anyway, so I'm having the time of my life at the Snoop Dogg's show when this guy walks up to me, and he's like this frat bro. He looks like the villain in every John Hughes movie ever, and he's got like 2 giant beers in his hands, you know, and he walks up to me and he's like, hey, you were that guy that was on stage earlier, right? And I was like, yeah, that's me. And he's like, so what was the idea? Did they just tell you to go out there and confuse everybody? And I said, no, I'm a comedian. I was just, you know, doing my act. And he says, no, come on, tell me the truth. They just tell you to go out there and make everyone really uncomfortable for a really long time. And I'm like, no, I'm a professional comedian. What you saw, I travel the world doing that for a living, mister. And he just says, yeah, well, me and my friends didn't laugh once. And I wanted to say to him, you know, mister, you know, some things can just be thoughts. We can keep them all to ourselves. We don't have to say them out loud to anyone ever for their whole life. But he had already walked away. But I started to think about it, and I was like, maybe he's right. You know, maybe the promoters were like, let's get Dave on the bill. He'll drive everyone to drink. Maybe that could be my new business model, like book Dave Hill. He'll double your bar business. So I was feeling kind of bummed out, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna grab my things and head back to the hotel. So I go backstage after the show, when I realized, like, oh my gosh, I still haven't met Snoop Dogg. Like, I have to meet Snoop Dogg. So I decide I'm just gonna wait. And so I wait, and then finally I hear this, like, this sort of rumbling, and this, like, boom, like, you know in Jurassic Park when the ground shakes, and, like, they know the dinosaurs are coming because, like, the glass of water starts rippling, you know? It was like that, only it was this phalanx of Snoop Dogg bodyguards rounding the corner, like, doo, doo, and I can see Snoop Dogg in the back, and so I run up to them, and I was like, hey, it's Dave from earlier in the story. I was wondering, if I could get, Snoop Dogg's, get a picture with Snoop Dogg, because I'm in my 40s, and so they just kind of part like the Red Sea, and Snoop Dogg just sort of levitates forward, and he's got this like beatific glow about him, and I was like, hey Snoop, I'm Dave, can I get my picture with you? And he's like, yeah, sure, and we took a picture, and if anyone wants to see it in the lobby after the show, I'll show it to you. Snoop looks totally cool, and I have a massive booger right here. But it was still pretty awesome, so I'm like, thanks a lot, and I start walking away, and I get about 10 feet away when Snoop says, excuse me, and I'm like, yeah, Snoop, and he says, what's your name, sir? And I'm like, I'm Dave Hill, and Snoop just says, I'm gonna look out for you. And I just thought, this is the best night of my life. And like, I know he was just being polite probably, but at the time I was like, oh my gosh, it's me and Snoop against the world. So I say, Snoop, I'm gonna look out for you too. But he was like 10 blocks away by then. But, and then his bodyguards escorted me out of the building. Thank you very much. Let's bring it on home, guys.